I got some gentlemen in the building with me tonight, and this is a dream come true for me because I've been wanting to have this conversation with a group of my peers, people that are in the spaces that I'm in, people that's not in the I'm not in the spaces with them, so I can learn. On social media, we see a lot of different conversations on YouTube, and I see Jubilee is one of my favorite YouTube channels to watch. I don't know if y'all watch Jubilee. Great great content. But tonight I got to introduce my guest to my left and my right. I'm gonna start off with the big homie Stretch is in the building. Shout out to my homie Stretch. I want to shout out to Staydumbfly. Y'all probably seen him every Monday night on Crazy Talk. I want to shout out to my boy. What's your TikTok name? You gotta give me a TikTok. A toy. You see my boy, a toy. I thought it was a different name on that. I want to shout out Kevin, because he don't want to give me the I got to give him the doc, man. Dr. Kevin is in the building. And then, of course, we got the one and only Mr. George Moore Jr. is in the building as well. I go by the name of BOYLOSCRAZY from the Crazy Riot Show and Lake County Media Group. Oh, this is my camera right here? Oh, that's my camera. See, it's 5 cameras. Lake County Media Group. And also want to shout out everybody that's watching right now. True Conglomerate Studios, the #1 place to come get your content done right here, y'all. It's True Conglomerate Studios. But I want to kick the conversation off with the hottest topic that I can. Last night was a shocker for some and not for others. Trump pulled it off. He got more electoral votes. He got more votes overall. They came out, he won some states that they said he wasn't going to win. So as a man in America, how do you feel about Trump being our president for the next 4 years? You guys can jump in whenever you want, whatever you feel, go for it.
Me personally, I didn't vote because there's no reason to vote if you uneducated, bro. Like, I don't know. I just didn't vote because I don't know too much about politics and none of that. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to go in just voting for anybody just to vote. But I done seen a lot of stuff on social media. I woke up this morning and scrolled on TikTok. I seen a lot of stuff about people saying stuff about Trump, mostly females, just being just mad. I don't know. They just a lot of people just mad for no reason.
Okay. He said he ain't know, so he didn't go. Okay. George? Now I'm pointing y'all out. Y'all acting shy or something.
All this out. So as far as Trump is concerned, my deepest concern is everybody crashing out this morning and watching news feeds. I stayed out the news, but I had to watch to see how everybody's reaction was. And I saw people literally saying, I'm not going to work. I'm done. I'm dead. Saying all kind of stuff, death and life in the power of the tongue. I'm dead. And, it's just, it concerned me that they were paying such an emphasis, or putting such an emphasis on a man or a woman or a president. And I think that when you say literally, like when you're ready to kill somebody else over the fact that this person is president or not, then that places a lot of emphasis on what you believe about yourself. You believe this person is your God. I'm not saying, there's something about this because whoever is president, there's a whole lot of other stuff behind the scenes that I'm concerned about other than who's president. Mm-hmm. There's the local elections. There's other stuff that we don't talk about that really affects you. But since we're talking about the president, I'm not going to crash out or die over who's president. That's not my idol. What really concerns me is that they were courting the black vote. Both candidates, both sides of the political spectrum. That concerned me. Because why are you courting the black vote? And then I'm over here.
But we ain't worried about the cameras right now. We right here. Shout out to Tim. Shout out to producer. Absolutely.
So I don't want to talk too much on this, but why are you courting the black vote? And so that concerned me. And then I looked and found out that since 2016, there was 64% of women, black women voting, 54% is always lesser, and that went on a domino effect. It's been that it's always black males are not voting. So it concerned me. You don't ask the white, are we getting the white vote? Are we getting the white male vote? They said, are we getting the black male vote? That concerned me because it says to me that we as men, black men, don't trust systems. similar to what you just said.
That's deep.
Because it's not important enough because if you would, you'll find out if it's important enough to you. Because everybody on the stage, we're intelligent enough, you'll find out. So here's the issue for me. Black men, we don't trust systems. And my people perish, the Bible says, for lack of knowledge. They're destroyed for lack of knowledge. And so if we don't understand how systems work, what we'll do is we'll let anything ride, and if something happens, we'll get upset about it. We're concerned about it when it happens. Now he's president. We could have voted. We could have not voted. I don't care. I don't know. I don't trust it. Therefore, it's a domino effect. We don't trust the system. We don't trust the system of neighborhood and people. I don't trust you. I don't trust my wife. Black folk don't trust each other, in particular black men. That's what concerns me. So we talk about
you're saying that it's a representation of something else.
Yes.
Deeper within us on what the result is and why we're going out to not vote, or maybe vote for, maybe against your own interests, as some people would say.
It's bigger than who becomes president.
Okay.
It's what's going on with.
Let me get the doc in. That's deep. Let me get Kevin.
Well, that is deep. But I'm going to say that I'm going to add just men in general. Men are 4 times likely to commit suicide. 80 to 85% of suicides are men. 93% of those who are incarcerated are men. When we stop at red lights, we see men holding signs saying anything helps, but we never see females. We see men. Other men see men. So as a result of us being part of this privileged population, men, but we are not privileged. But when I say that, it's really white males. So all males are paying the price as a result of what white males did as it relates to the 1600s, saying what women can do and all those things. I'm gonna go back to that. But men are in a crisis as it relates to mental health, as it relates to the labor market, as it relates to incarceration, as it relates to family, as it relates to fatherhood. Men know these things, but we go unnoticed. And that's all men, but especially African-American men and Latino men. And this could be a contributing factor as to why men decided to vote in the way in which they did, you know. And this was very, very shocking for all. I actually voted for Kamala Harris because I do not feel that Donald Trump, in my personal opinion, right, is fit to sit in the office. But despite that, the men decided to go Republican for whatever reason. But as a sociologist who's been studying this for some time now and just studying men, I've been writing about it for over a year now, and I've just recently published an article about men aren't going to college, men are, and there's suicide. Out of every 100 people who commit suicide, 80 to 85 of them are males. Why? Why are we experiencing these things in the modern era, more so than ever before? Why have we dropped out of the labor market? Men between the ages of 25 to 54, what we call prime years, are not working, or 10.1 million less men are working compared to 1969. Why are men walking away from the labor market? Wow. You know, what are the contributing factors? The other question I would raise too is, you know, a lot of men were bitten by the Me Too movement, right? So what about the Me Too movement? How did people feel about that? Now, I am not a chauvinist or anything like that. I would like to also say that despite all the things that men are going through and this crisis that men are going through, that women are also going through things, and that in this country that we can do both, that we can help men and we can help women. But we tend to turn our backs on men, right? If we had 80 to 85% of women committing suicide, will it go unnoticed? If we had women out holding signs the way we have men, despite race, holding signs, what will we do about it? But we tend to overlook it as a result of them being male.
Wow. Stress, let me get you in, man.
Well,
How did you feel about the election? First of all, give me that.
to be honest with you, I wasn't shocked.
Yes, I wasn't shocked because
You know,
of all these things
Yeah.
that men are experiencing. That's why I said all that.
I think with this election, we got left out. During this whole campaign, we got left out. As far as Democratic side, Ms. Harris and our team of Democrats, they use fear. What if we allow this man to come in? These are all the bad things that's going to happen. And they spoke good topics, but they were for themselves in a sense, although we're all affected, so I don't want to downplay their feelings about having, abortion rights and, just control of their own bodies when they're talking about all the things that's going to happen if we vote for this man, what they're going to take from them. And what they didn't do is talk about what they're going to do for us or how do we play in the part of this election. They never spoke about the males, let alone the black male. It was all about what you're going to take from the woman. What do we fit? All the expectations is placed upon us as black men to support our households and to do all of these things. Then you mentioned the Me Too movement. Well, that also came in part to help divide us.
Right.
Because what we were being told and it was forced upon us is women and men are equal across the board. Equal pay, equal this, equal that. Great. We love that. But because of some who pushed that so hard, they forced a lot of the men out, including the woman who wanted to prove that I don't need a man. I don't need a man in the house. I can do this on my own. Well, now all of a sudden there's a division and then you say, where were you? That's why we have the lowest vote turnouts for black men. It doesn't affect us the way that it may affect others, or at least you haven't shown us where it's going to affect us, because we still got to go out and get it with or without you.
Do we have a problem truly, and if you could be as vulnerable as you possibly, and Brandon, I got to get you in. Do we have a problem with voting for a female president? As a culture, men, is that a thought? People say, well, there's no way a woman could be the president because men just won't allow it because they think women can't lead. What do you say to that? Brandon, what do you say to that?
Well, I voted for Hillary, for
Okay.
sure. So it wasn't about her race or nothing. It was just I felt like she was a better fit. And then not only that, I felt like her husband was one of the greatest presidents he could do.
This dude, yeah, man.
But just to be more transparent, I did not vote in this election at all. I did not trust either one of them. But again, like I was saying to you guys earlier, I was convinced that Kamala was the better fit, the better qualified person for the role. But I personally don't enjoy voting on any level because of kind of like what you spoke about. I just feel like the system is a fraud solely because they say the government is ran by the people. But we have to vote for people to speak for us. I don't understand that. The same way they can give us a voice to speak and vote for a person to vote for us, they can actually put these things up for us to vote on, right? We are if we're actually the government and we're actually running things, why when bills are being passed and it's actually going to affect us directly, why do we have to trust these people that we voted for to vote in our favor or pass these bills or not pass these bills in our favor? Because behind closed doors, a lot of things get done on the table. Bribery, favors, exchange, what is better for that person's family versus the community that they hold. And you see it all too often that it just falls apart when you don't have people that you trust. And going back to the Hillary thing, she had most of the popular votes. But she did not have the electorals. How is that even possible? When the electorals are supposed to vote in the favor of the people, right? So that shows you that it doesn't work in that sense. So that's my take on it.
Okay. The kind of going from politics to culture.
What is your take on it, though? I would like to hear.
Oh, okay, cool. I voted for Donald Trump. No, I'm just playing. No, I voted for Harris. I think that she was. It's some things that I agree with the Republican Party on, honestly. not so much mass deportation, which Trump says he's about to do day one once he get in there. I do feel some type of way about the immigrants who come here and get more than I got.
Right.
I do feel some type of way about that. Right. And that could just be the American dream, and they're seeking asylum. Of course, they went through that process, but it's parts of it that I definitely don't agree with. And I was on the edge with that, but that was the only issue that I kind of was like a Republican on. Everything else, I was pretty much locked in step with Harris, and I felt she should have won. My business ran better under Trump, though. That's for a fact. I don't know if that was just people coming out of the pandemic, but maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Trickle down effects.
Well, that's true.
One good question. What happened to the Crazy Place? I heard about it.
Crazy Place was a monstrosity of a responsibility for one person. Well, just not me on my own. I had a great team behind me, but when you open a business like that, you need multiple investors. And I learned that I could not just do it. I couldn't do it by myself financially. So I decided to close the doors, and it ran a good course. It was a good thing, and I just hung it up. That's why.
You got a new building now?
No building. No. I would never do that again.
Oh, you not?
But which goes into culture, which goes into my next topic, which is culture, black culture. To tie it together, when I opened my business, I became an enemy to my community.
Oh.
Because I became more successful visually to people that were around me. Yeah. And they didn't like that.
Oh, they was getting jealous?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And the people that I made it for, they turned against the idea of it being successful because of them. The black people that should have been like, we got you, was like, we hate you. And you're never going to really do anything better than us. And I felt that every day I woke up because I really wanted it to be successful for us, but it didn't happen that way. So, which goes into my topic of the culture conversation. What is it about our culture that you could give me good and bad, that is, that if you could express to me like a groundbreaking black culture thing, whether it's good or bad, but something we do together that is constant, that is not ever going to be shaken up, that we do as a black culture. Tell me what we do. What? I'm just asking a good question.
Well, y'all gonna hate me when I say this, but they believe in their faith. It's like you can't shake these people with their faith and their beliefs in this. And I feel like so much money is given into these churches, and I feel like if we as a people, if we had, we had black. Seriously, you guys can laugh.
No, it's George. I'm laughing at George. I'm laughing at George, man.
You don't want this
Hey,
smoke.
share this video. Share this video.
You don't want the smoke. I promise you. You don't want it. I'm so
Share the
prepared.
video. It's about to go up.
So
Share
listen,
the video because it's about to go down.
I'm right. Yeah, share the video. I've said this, and
You're saying the church is black culture.
Yeah, no, like the faith.
Faith, excuse me.
Their faith in their religion, regardless of
Okay.
what it is, right? Regardless of what it is, they can't be deterred from their faiths. None of them have proven to show anybody, excuse me, Pastor, that it works in their favor. And it works in their favor. Like if we're talking facts. All right. And the word faith itself is basically believing the unknown, right? Something that you can't prove with facts. Look, I feel you, brother. I love you though. I love you. But this ain't for that. This is not for that. What I'm saying is not for that. I'm saying this because I grew up on the south side of Waukegan. And I walk down those communities all the times, and it's approximately 15 churches on the set. And I said to myself, like, dang, if they got at least 20 people giving $20 at all these churches, a lot of money every Sunday. If you put that in a community bank, you could build your own community. You don't have to wait on nobody. But and from what I was told growing up when I was in church, that the church was supposed to be for the community. It was supposed to give back into the community. It was supposed to uplift the community. It was stationed in the community for these things. Now, if that's true in every community, I don't know. But you've seen a lot of churches blow up, pastors blow up, and the communities around them don't thrive like that. It don't look like that. So for me, that's one of the things that I think that they stick together on.
Okay.
No.
Hey, man. You better preach.
You know I love this. You know I love it. No. I want to say, first of all, that I respect that you said that out loud, which is what we need to do. Some people will say, no, you shouldn't say that. Why? Because I come from the barbershop era. I was literally born in the barbershop, I feel like. And that's where we learned everything in the community. We had conversations like this, right or wrong, and we just had it out. And so this is good. I'm glad you said that. Now, I qualify. In Carter G. Woodson's Miseducation of the Black Man, he made a quote. He said, you don't have to tell a man to do this or that. You get their mind and they will literally stay in that place. You don't have to try to get them. You get their mind. What's happening, I believe, in the black community concerning churches, when you bring up the church or faith, since you said faith, we have to understand, first of all, Southside don't have 15 churches on the same block.
I said the community. You want to walk through?
I said, no.
The South Side of Waukegan.
Oh, okay, you said in the same block. I'm going by what you said.
Community on the South
okay,
Side.
okay.
On the South Side of Waukegan, there's 15 churches
so
in that,
let's just use
community.
that scenario now. Chicago, they may have that.
No, we can go through that. We can, me and you, we can walk through that after
I
this.
know the South Side very well.
Let's go through that.
But I'm gonna tell you from what I do know. The churches that you see, let's just say 8th and Lincoln, when you see the food deliveries and all the stuff that's happening out there. Then you see Sign of Dove. Then you see Mount Moriah.
Yeah, on 10th
I know
Street.
every church on
Right.
10th. Yeah,
It's like 3 of them on there.
Right, and then you see that the
Catholic Church on
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Catholic Church was not there
8th.
anymore. There's another church that just moved in, which is Muslim, Islamic.
Okay.
It's not a church, but they're giving out things.
Okay.
Right? It's a faith. Okay. Everybody has a certain person that God created. We talked about purpose that speaks to them. So I may need you. You guys are right next to each other, right?
Yeah.
Both of y'all black males,
Yeah.
young or old. You speak to me better probably than he does. In the sense that I resonate with you.
I understand.
So I'm gonna go have a conversation with you. That's not making him a bad person. There's certain people that he's gonna speak to them, and it doesn't make either one of y'all at odds. Here's what we have in the black community, but y'all right next to each other. It just he resonates with me.
If the word is the word and it's all the same, why do you need?
Well, see, that's what we're talking
Why do you have?
about.
Why
Wait,
do you
let me
need different
finish.
translators of it? I'm asking you that question.
Well, no.
Like resonation is what the word that you use.
I'm saying-
so that's like, you know what I'm saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I just want to stick to your point.
Okay.
We're talking about faith in the black community and being disappointed with it. I think that what we have to do as black males, because we're talking about black men, or let's just say men in general, but it's mostly with black males, they somehow bring up the church. And the church was the original structure that we went to, like the barbershop, to get the needs that we needed. They were the ones who buried our children, the ones who married our family, the ones who gave us, that was the original.
Okay.
That's the origin of when we
Right.
say the church. What is disappointing us as black males going back to systems. We are disappointed with systems, disappointed with each other, so we point out the church. Negative and positive is what Carlos said. Somehow, we tend to focus on the negative. When you look at a school, there's a whole lot of perverse stuff that happens in our schools with our
Absolutely.
youth people and everything. Everybody, there's not a big drove of people leaving schools. Y'all still calling the police, and y'all probably half of the people in here done got whooped by the police, but y'all didn't call them. Still calling them. But we tend to find one genre that's close to us, and this is why I'm gonna hit you in the head. In our community, the thing that's closest to us, we hate it the most. And I can back that up.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Things-
Stretch.
I ain't gonna argue that right now, but
That's
that's
why with black businesses, what tears us down is what Carlos said. It won't be outside structures. As soon as this man gets to a certain level, listen, when I was walking with Fist forming me striving together and I was on the streets, didn't nobody care. As soon as you get a grant, you must be doing something wrong. What you talking about? Look at the books. But when I was out here broke, starving, and working at the barbershop doing $10 a head and feeding folk, you the best thing since sliced cheese. And you look like me. But as soon as I look like something else, you see what I'm saying? That happens where? David in the Bible says is my own familiar friend. The person that's closest to me is the one who's gonna get me. That's how it happens in our community.
Do you correlate that experience of stress? I gotta get you in. Do you correlate Brandon's experience with the church? Not really faith, I guess, but church. Do you correlate that with some type of inward hate? Inward, like not hate itself, but some like, I don't really like them. Like you said, you got to point out something that's nearest to you.
I feel like, because I don't want to point Brandon out because he has a real concern. It's one of the reasons I almost converted to Islam growing up. Living in the Oakland Bay Area, the Black Panthers and the movement, I just saw Islam and I saw structure. But then I saw this happen. I'm not going to mention something happened in Islam, the people closest to me at the mosque, and I said, they just like every other system. People that look like us, we don't trust each other going back to systems. Something happened to us as a black people to where we don't trust our skin color.
Hold that. Let me get stretch in. Come in on that. You're a black business owner. You did things. The original preface was about culture. What do we do together? But kind of dive in on what they're talking about and what you feeling.
For what I hear a lot is black folks don't support one another. Mm-hmm. And I've always argued that is far from truth. Mm-hmm. But what I've also said over the years is our support has an expiration date that we have to continue to try to renew over and over and over again.
That's good. I like that.
Within each other in our own communities. So I always ask, name a black business locally that opened up that we didn't support and fill up in that first week, that first month, that's right. Or whatever. What happens is, over time, been there, done that, seen that, what have you done differently to bring me back? Right. It's kind of like if you a person who enjoy Portillo's burgers or something, you're gonna go. It don't mean you don't like Portillo's if you stop going. I've just had it enough that it's no longer on my taste palette. So I have to find something else. So now they have to introduce some chili or something or some cake or something to bring you back. And then you'll still get the burger as you choose. But I'm saying even a good thing is we do support one another. So I love to try to kill the notion that we don't.
I disagree with that part.
I would disagree with you too.
So okay, we can.
I would.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Agree. I would agree.
I disagree with the last part, but you're right about the main piece. of it.
Being as a person who's been in business as well, and in different types of businesses, like we talked about off air, done a little bit of everything. People mostly only know me by how they met me at that point in my life. Sure. So the latest thing was Stretches. I believe I had support from Stretches from beginning to end. Now there was a lot of hate and envy and a lot of people taking shots in between, but that didn't dominate the mass that I viewed as people in my support.
Sure.
Okay?
I agree with, and that's
what I'm saying.
I think that's the attitude to have. Your attitude in that sense determines your altitude. I think the reason why you were successful, I believe, and Carlos was successful, and the Mill on the Stage was successful, is because we don't focus on that. And that's what I was trying to get to, is that
we renew it. Once again, I felt like I renewed over and over, staying active.
Yeah.
Keeping in tune with everybody who's in my circle and outside of my circle. You may not be in the same circle as him, and him, and him, and him, but that don't mean I can't be in tune with you, and you, and you.
Status quo is not accepted, right, in the community. So you do have to always, we have high standards, and we're very conservative. So when we see that things are slacking, we'll tell you about it, or we'll tell you by not showing up. I think that is common. I do also think that we show up. We do show up, and I saw that in your establishment, and I see it in other establishments. But if we keep the same for too long, we disappear.
And this is what I just want to add to this. When you do what you said, which is, to stay in tune, I've seen businesses on both sides. I've seen businesses fall off because they don't stay in tune. I've seen businesses stay in tune, meet the metrics, gauges, everything, follow evidence-based practices, do everything in the community you're supposed to do, and still get hate. That's what I'm not talking about.
Oh, no.
I'm not. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we as a people really, because I don't want to harp on the negative, because there is a lot of positive support. I have a lot of positive support. I'm saying that going back to the culture, because you brought it up with that scenario with your business, there's sometimes a heightened sense of criticism or being critical towards us, whereas you might find somebody who doesn't look like me with a business just like mine or even more prominent than mine, but you don't say anything about theirs.
I agree.
But you'll come to me because I look like you and I'm close to you, and you'll focus more. And that happens in churches, that happens in our community and our culture.
Sure.
I want to speak on that real quick. I feel like a lot of us go through that because we put ourselves in that fire like that. It's very seldom that you see a black person that want to be successful without their name or their face being attached to what they created. And I don't understand that, because I can't walk into most Caucasian establishment and know the owner, and he's in there flaunting like he's that person and this is mine and things. He has people in place to handle things, and he stays out of that where it's just business. And a lot of times we are associated with our businesses and the people that look like us that come and frequent our spots, and they feel like they have these relationships and bonds and so forth. They may feel one way or another. And I think that may play a part in the love and the hate, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of people should just start trying to create businesses for success and, how can I say this, for lack of a better word, passive
transactional business.
passive income.
Transactional.
Passive income versus saying, "Oh yeah, this me.
It's a crazy place.
BOYLOSCRAZY.
Or it's stretches.
But I do agree with you in a sense, but I think what happens is, I'm gonna just use our area because I don't live somewhere else. I live
facts
here,
only.
So I live here. If I remember, it was something you said to me. I remember, you mentioned stretches since that's the most thing that most people locally know about me. I remember going on vacation, and I was gone for about maybe a week or whatever. And I said, man, the numbers look like they coming down a little bit. And then I asked Carlos, we were talking, and I could have been offended, but I wasn't. You said, you stretches. You said, you stretches. They was like, not saying it's not a nice place, but it's just another bar without you. So I'm saying locally, we have to attach our name to even be able to pay the bills initially.
Facts.
Hold on. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with it. If I just opened a bar with no name attached to it, I don't know for those first months that I'd see a Brandon and a Carlos and some of the others who didn't really spend a whole lot of money with me, but they sat with me. That motivated me to keep going early on.
I was broke, Kevin.
He don't drink. He buy fries and sit there and watch basketball.
Definitely bought fries.
So I'm just
on
saying.
the budget. He was on the budget. Some fries.
So I'm saying, if this was just called, I'm gonna use Timothy O'Toole's, he's not coming. And everybody who's associated with him, they're not following him as well. So I'm saying I don't have the financial ability to be able to open a bar while growing the brand off of the basics.
But I think that's a contradiction to what you said though earlier, because you made a statement to say that you are basically doing things to like regain them, right?
Once again,
so
I have to renew it. But
right,
I needed it to come in to renew and to grow it.
So why it can't be the service and the things that you have in there? It's not that.
The service had to also be there, or some would have expired early.
I think to add to this, that we have to understand the demographic and what the business we're talking about. Like,
Sure. A bar is different.
If you're talking about a grassroots organization, you have to literally work it. And my whole goal is to get out, and to legacy is about passing it on. I don't want it doesn't work for me to be all like this because it's not about me. My whole business and theme is about I'm going back to get me.
Right.
I'm going back. I'm trying to get you, and other people are going to take the place. But here's the problem: while you're working that from a grassroots scenario, you're coming up from the ground up. I didn't have no choice. Wasn't no grants, wasn't no nothing. I'm out there beating the pavement myself. So if you happen to see me and they taking pictures, because guess what? When we do take a picture, somebody comes and says, I want to come to the community closet now because, I didn't have any clothes. Now I realize so we have to use media in a positive way. if your heart is right and you're doing it right, when people see you, they come for you, but they don't come for you. They come for everything behind you.
Okay.
So I think that even with Stretch and Carlos, you also got looking from their for-profit standpoint. They're both grassroots. Their businesses weren't handed to them. Neither one of them. And so they came from. So it's like when you see Stretch, is him out there trying to, he don't have, I think sometimes we compare ourselves to things that don't really exist. Okay, we all on the same playing level. No, we're not.
No, that's not true.
We're not. They especially
We
for
running the same race, but we don't have the same obstacles.
yeah, we got different obstacles. So when you see him,
Same driver, nothing.
Yeah.
Same driver ideas.
so we have to, let's put it in perspective as to where these men come from, where we come from, and why we did it the way we did it, and then we can understand why we're doing it that way.
So just to change gears a little bit more, like I said, we got the young guy in the building. His generation is a generation that is at a, they say crisis, but just, but that's what I was about to ask. Just simply a yes or no, in your time growing up, do you feel like these young generation, Generation Z, is the same as when you were a kid? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
Now, the no's, I want you to expand on why it's a no. Why is it different? Why is it not the same? Doc.
Well, we just had a lot of more opportunities, right? Even going to college, Pell Grants, churches giving us money, people in the community, people didn't keep their blinds closed. We left the house in the morning time and didn't come back until the sun had gone down. We have done a host of things throughout the day with a ton of other people, right? So the times were just different. But even when we just look at, and that's my opinion too, right? But when we look at the data, we also see that 15 to 24-year-olds, when I talk about suicide, are committing suicide more than anyone else. On December 31st, 2022, there were 636 people who had been killed in Chicago. That's the last day of 2022. Of those 636, 500 and so, 80% were African American males, right? But the age group was between 15 and like 34, right? And that's just Chicago, right? But we see that across the country. You didn't
experience that amount of death.
That amount of deaths, I did not.
Gotcha. Any other no's? Who else no? Stretch was a no? Go ahead, Stretch.
There's a lot of differences as far as what I can see is, I'm 54 years old. I was born in 1970, so I'm different than you and you. But we actually had to interact personally with people. Social media changed the world. So how can we think that everything else stayed the same if everything in the world has changed? So before, when as a kid, you had to go next door to borrow some sugar or get an egg from a neighbor. You had to pick up the phone or go knock on the door. Now we're not even allowed to show up at your house. We don't know where you live, and we supposed to be friends.
Yeah.
So how can we think it's the same? And that's just something basic, because I don't want to go too deep.
Well, they say that we even had the skill set of knowing how to approach a female. It was a skill that the boys today have lost, right? Dating apps and things. It's a skill to be
circumvented that process.
To hide behind keyboards instead of that skill of walking across the gym to ask someone,
can I have your number?
Or would you like to dance, or go out? And
I want to hold you. I want to hold you.
Right.
You're ended.
So when I say
this,
this, I'm not talking about 5 people.
Right.
I'm talking about the United States.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I'm talking about men on average, not people on our street, and I make the decision based on the 4 people I know. It is based on the data across the country, not I think or I feel that a lot of young men are not dating or not having sex, haven't had sex in over a year and not even thinking about having sex. Well, that has changed. And the psychologists and sociologists raise question, is that healthy, right? That a lot of guys are lonely, right? Are lonely, meaning just staying at home with their parents, not in the labor market, not helping with chores, just not contributing. Period. Not I think, not I feel, but according to the most recent research by Richard Reeves, by Hannah Rosin, it's a host of people out there that's talking about this here, but yet the masses we continue to ignore it because of males.
Gotcha. Let me get. I got a yes, so we got to go with the yes too. Then we get to close with the young guy.
So I was born in '84, and basically just looking back then to now, I think that every era changed, right? And so because they changed, it changed. Every group evolved with that. You had to adapt with what was going on at that time. I just recently told this to a young lady where they were saying.
But in this situation, there's regression, though. So that used to be the case. But this is the first generation of boys who will make less money and own less than their family, than their fathers.
But you also have to look at the other numbers as far as how the amount of money that you make and you buying a house is very different. Like 7%. So I was just looking at something just recently where it was saying that to buy a home back then, it only took up 7% of your income. Yes. That's not the same no more. So of course it's going to look a far more or less. You're getting 50-cent chips that we used to get way more for 25 cents, right? So when you start talking about inflation, it doesn't. When inflation happens, the pay rate doesn't change to where people can actually still survive in the society. Gas is $3 to $4. People are literally right now scrambling for $20 an hour jobs and really think that they're living. And when you think about the amount of money that you're making weekly and then the amount of money you got to spend on rent, the amount of money you got to spend on your car note, the amount of money you got to spend on your insurance, the gas to get back and forth to work, the amount of money you got to spend on your food for the month, the clothes, the shoes, etc. All these things take up a lot of money, and it takes you approximately $5,000 just to live regular for the month.
Get back to your premise on generation. That was good. Thank you for the metrics.
Yeah.
But to get back to the generational thing,
but you agree with us though, because what you just said was those things. Yeah.
Yeah, but no. But
But
the reason why I'm saying it's the same is because
every generation
had to change, and so they are the same as every generation.
Gotcha.
They're living within their time frame and what is acceptable and adaptable. I'm saying this because a woman said, "Man, your jeans tight." I said, well, they don't sell baggy jeans no more. They changed the fashion. What are you talking about? Don't make it seem like they got stuff that I was wearing in 2001 in the store. That ain't what's going on. The same thing with the cell phones. They ain't got them old microphones and they don't
but
have
as relates to humans, relates to men, relates to men in this era, men are not performing the way that men did. And
society isn't set for
but
that.
I want to hold that. This is good. I like the banter, but I got to go to the young guy because this is about his generation. What is your response to everything that everybody just said here today?
So I feel like this generation has changed from since back then when y'all was born. So, cause look, I look at it like this, cause like older person, they'll think social media is just social media. You can't make a lot of money off there. That's why they. So let me speak out this. Like for example, my parents, they didn't know you can make a lot of money off social media. So when I was telling them that I want to do social media, they ain't really know how to come about that. Right. So they want me to go to college, start like a business or something. Right. Yeah, they didn't really know how to come about that. So I just started social media. I had to show them that I could really make real life money off the social media app. Instead of just sitting there, sometimes you just gotta take that risk, just leap of faith. Just take that leap of faith. Just trust your gut, and you can do anything you want.
I gotta ask a question. Do you feel like how old are you?
19.
As a 19-year-old boy, do you feel like you lack certain social skills because of your phone? Meaning like conversation, being able to walk up to a girl and say, hey, what's up, without it being connected to your phone. Are you comfortable the same way as you are inboxing a girl and talking to a girl? It's the same thing.
I would say yeah, but if it was a couple years ago, no. So I had to build myself up into that.
Okay. Now, we could get back into it with your conversation. Go ahead, B.
No, what I was gonna say is that so my son is a gamer, right? And so because he's a gamer, I never tried to push him into what I understood society had programmed me to believe success looked like. And so y'all had asked a question off the frame about what success was. And my definition of what success is contention for an individual.
That's right.
All right. So every individual gets to a point of contention. That is success. But we in this community and as a whole sometimes force people to be uncomfortable with their level of contention as if it's failure, because it's not what we expect it to look like or what we would want for ourselves, right? So that's that part. And then okay, no.
Keep me a good story.
Yeah,
And
then like so I bought my son all this stuff because I was encouraging him to make money off that, because I educated myself on the fact that I ain't finna make you feel like, get off that damn game, you can't do nothing off of that, you can't make money. And that's what he's saying. His parents couldn't buy into the idea of you being on social media because they didn't see, how can you afford to live after
Is there
this?
something you experienced as a teenager that is equivalent to that?
Yeah, basketball. When I was a hooper, that's all I wanted to do. And my mom's like, she didn't know that you can.
But you can't make money in high school. You couldn't make money in high school.
But most of us didn't. I had a job in high school. I had a job.
No, I mean,
when I was 13,
the only reason why I need the correlation is because it brings it back to Doc's point about the equivalency between the generations and where the student is at.
Okay.
Because obviously a kid being in high school, being able to get an NIL deal playing football is different than when you were in high school playing basketball.
But
you couldn't
yeah.
make any money.
But
opportunity is a little
little
different.
1,000%. But I don't think my mom was looking for me to be making no money in high school. She's talking about,
Right.
Brandon, you need to be getting your grades right, scoring this high score on SAT so you can get into a decent college where you don't have to pay for college, because I ain't got the money. It ain't coming from me. Then you graduate from college and then you can embark into a career. That's what a form of success looked like to her, based on what she was telling me.
Gotcha.
She didn't see me going into no MBA. So that wasn't encouraged. It was, I don't care about that. The academics better be right. That's it. So
last topic, because we got to get out of here. Shout out to True Conglomerate for showing us love. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Last topic, polarizing topic. There is obviously a million studies where the black man is the target of the study, where they say, well, we need to do this. And you can look at history and say, well, the government has targeted black men in so many different ways. But there's been so many other communities that benefit from the demise, as some say, of the black man as men. My question to you guys is, do you feel like the culture of a black man has been popularized to be, let me get the direct word, because it's a good word that's connected to this question. Let me make sure I get it right. They have popularized black dysfunction. I want to talk to you, ask that question. Do you feel like our dysfunction as a culture has been popularized from rap to movies to all of this stuff? Now the kid want to be a killer, he want to be a shooter, but that's been the case since some of rap come out in the 70s, maybe not in the 80s, but when you get into 90s or 2000s, our dysfunction has been popularized for us to die, for us to go to jail. What responsibility do we have on that as black men?
So your question is, does black culture hurt us?
Yes, there you go. See, that's why you're a smart guy. Does black culture hurt us? Yes. Last question.
for me, yes and no. I feel like a lot of people do capitalize off who we are. I remember there was a point in time where black wasn't beautiful, right? Being what they call a plus size model or a voluptuous woman was considered to be fat. They was not thick. They was not beautiful. The lips, none of this. And as time went on, you start seeing people going into suntanning booths. You start seeing people getting Botox to get their lips, and you start seeing women getting the butts and stuff. The BBL thing is a new trend, and I just feel like everything that we were that made us great and unique people start stealing that and exploiting it. A lot of people have, and as far as the dysfunction, I think that they do capitalize off that. I feel like they are the overseers of these businesses.
Were you a product of that?
As far as what? What do you mean?
Choosing the lifestyle you choose, was that a culture decision, or was that more of a close proximity decision?
So
that's all
I think for
short
me,
answer because we got to go.
Geographical area for sure.
Okay.
I wanted to be an engineer. You know what I'm saying? That's something, and also a hooper, right? Those are two things. And I just feel like I wasn't given, or I didn't have the tools to pursue that. I never had a actual example, a role model for that. The role models in my community that were praised was the pimps.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the
did
drug
that
dealers.
influence your decision?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
the
That's
culture
what,
was
that's
a
why I
part
said
of it.
geographical area.
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Anybody want to ask? Black culture hurt us. Does black culture hurt us? George Moore.
I think to say black culture hurts us is, I don't think you should say it like that.
I don't like that.
I think because when I think of black culture, I think of the originality of it. I think of where we come from. I think of when I look at you and the fact that you're an influencer, and we call it that now. But before, we were just creators. We were gifted. That's all we had. We were that, we sang. We were, you know what I mean, in the field.
That
we
was
were
exploited.
gifted, and now others are, to your point, exploiting that.
Yeah.
And now it's a talent to do something that we've been doing for years through rock and roll, through history. It's historic. We know for a fact.
African diaspora.
Yes, this has happened for over centuries.
Over the whole globe.
Yeah, so we know, so they capitalize off of who we are. Rap music, hip hop, we were speaking about what's happening in our community. And now it's taken and exploited. And now others that may not look like you are making money off of that.
Yeah.
So then are we saying black culture is negative? No, especially if you're not saying what you see. Okay? I think that the way black culture is utilized can be negative on both sides. On our side, I think we have to be careful as to how we share our culture, because that's how it gets easily taken, because we don't know how to cultivate what God has given us.
I got to challenge you guys. I got to challenge. What do we have?
Okay.
Tell me, what do we have? Somebody got to tell
What do you
me.
mean by what do we have?
I don't want you to. I don't want to go into deep explaining to you what I mean by that. I want you to tell me, what do we have as a black culture? What do we have? I'm not questioning it. I want you to tell me, what do we have?
Well, imagine
number
like
one
I'm not
genre of
questioning
music.
it. Just tell me.
We're the number one genre of music.
Please, okay. All right.
We have the number one genre of music.
Hip-hop, okay.
A lot of
Jazz,
stuff. We have a lot of stuff. So I think the question is, what do we have left?
Okay.
Because they've taken everything. But
Right.
we've created it.
Okay.
We've created a lot of things. If you go back,
Most
in history,
things.
most things that you exactly.
We created most
major
things.
Right,
things
right,
that we
right,
use
right.
today was created by us.
Right.
And it
So
was
what do we have
stolen.
left?
Do we have it?
So watch this.
Because we can't
the
even
number one genre
on this
of music-
platform. We can't talk about certain Jewish things.
No.
Because they're gonna be like, that ain't for you
No,
to talk about.
so
what do we have that other people can't be like? Hey.
No, whatever.
No,
we
that ain't
have, they're gonna
nothing.
come get
But they
it.
don't have. But
They're coming to get it.
Okay. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
But when you say the culture doesn't negatively affect us, that's why I said yes and no, because I feel like that rap is a bad thing for us right now as we speak, right? Because I remember Queen Latifah and them, and they was giving us messages.
It's not
and
all
so,
rap. It's some rap.
Okay, most.
But you gotta
masses, because of things that
I'm just gonna say.
positive,
They
Don't get played.
And that's what I was getting ready to say.
I agree with you.
Media has transformed what they are sending us.
I got a
Go
good question.
Go ahead.
How was rap when y'all was teenagers? How was rap back then compared to now?
So for me it was two different. It was different. So you got to remember that.
Short answer. I
remember KRS-One. I remember
That was your generation?
Yes, KRS-One.
KRS ain't your generation.
KRS-One, MC
88,
Light, Queen
89,
Latifah.
He was born when he was born?
Wu-Tang Clan. Nas.
That ain't his generation.
I was listening to them. That's 90s.
No, I get what you're saying. You was listening to him, but that ain't your era of music.
What do you mean it
Well,
wasn't?
the 90s. So
Yeah, that's not your generation.
What do you mean it's not my generation? I'm confused.
I just said it as clear as I could say
In
it.
the
That's not
90s,
your generation.
in the 90s,
KRS-One is not your.
They were in the 90s. I was
No.
born cool.
Okay,
And
okay,
what-
let's
you wanna-
answer
you wanna
his
say it ain't-
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
What's your era? What is considered your era then? If I'm
Like-
born in the 80s and this music is born, is
I don't want to do that too much. Okay, answer his question. Go ahead. You said KRS-One.
So I feel like the message was changed because guess what? When Uncle Luke was trying to rap like that and NWA was trying to rap like that, they was trying to ban that. And I feel like and now they are promoting that. And I feel like they promoting it because they see the demise in us from it.
So you're going back to I'm gonna just summarize it. We have to learn how to cultivate what we have left. How do we share what we have? This young man is doing it on a level to where he is making income.
Right.
He's riding in a nice vehicle at 19 years old. There's something that he's doing. He's taking something that other people would say was negative, and it's unorthodox because he should go get a job, go to college, right? That's what your parents told you. But look, he's now doing something that everybody else,
So that makes
he's
him an
using his
influencer.
gift.
So therefore, how is it protected? Because he's showing the success that it can be done a different way to people in our era and
That's what I'm asking.
So now, once again, it's what do we have left? Because that is whatever he may create will be taken.
I feel like what we have left
that's deep.
is
That's deep.
I feel like what we have left is how you are responsible for the gift that you're sharing, because you represent us and you're the next generation. So it's what you do with it. I believe.
I want somebody to answer his
Go ahead,
question,
Toy.
though. Can somebody answer his question for me, though? His question is, after we create these things, how do we keep it?
We can't.
Okay, cool.
We can't. Our culture
Nothing is
can't.
left.
That's how I feel
He's
about
speaking
it.
as if we can. So I would like to understand, like you just mentioned, his advances and the things that he's done. That maybe we did things that our parents didn't think was going to be successful for us, and we still was able to do it. He's now doing that.
Yes.
How can he protect that?
Well, that's an individual thing.
I'm just
But it becomes masses once it's successful.
Well,
for the sake of time.
Biggest screamer in the world.
For the sake of
biggest
time,
screamer in the world is a white dude. Like it's.
Oh, yeah,
it's-
Beast.
So it's.
He's
I
checking the meat roll.
get what you're saying, but I'm saying that's his.
But that's going to always be the case most of the time.
His choices are really awesome choices, and he's broke the mold of what other in his family has done, which should be truly applauded because he never saw it and he did it. So that's amazing that he did it. But that's not black. That's a. What I'm saying, I could be.
I gotta interject.
The top
I gotta
five
interject
influencers
real
are
quick.
black.
I'm gonna say one thing and then I'm
that's
done.
not true.
I'm
Look
gonna
it
say
up.
one thing and then I'm done. I'm gonna say one thing then I'm done. When you say that's not black, understand what you just said. I believe we got to revisit what you just said, because every gift that you have is a child that you birth. You see what I'm saying? That's your child.
Yeah.
That's his child. He birthed
Yes,
that.
yes.
So it's important to how you raise that child, because I see you and your legacy based on how you raise that child. You give it to me. I don't know your gift based on how you present it. And so his responsibility is how he cultivates that child. He has released that into the earth.
Sure.
That gift that he's getting. And all of you all are releasing what you have to us. Now, and guess what? He happens to be black. So it's a black baby. That's a black cultural gift that he's given us. And how you raise that child is a reflection of who you are and next generation. Because that child, somebody else is going, because what you're doing is not new. What I'm doing, what any of us are doing is not new. Nothing's new under the sun. We watch somebody else do it, and now we doing it. And so now we're responsible for the child that we're birthing, the seed that we got. Now that's what I'm saying. That's how you take
I get that. Go ahead. I want you to give it in too. But I get what you're saying, Jordan.
What happened with me was I seen it was like, I looked on social media. I seen a lot of people my age, it's just like in like fast Lamborghinis and stuff, and all success. And I just looked back at it, like took a step back at it, like anything is possible. I could really do that because I'm his age, and now that I did that and I'm doing that, I see other people that are around me that went to school with me or people that know me around here to see that it's possible because they see me do it.
Absolutely.
They see me come from the ground
The tools,
up.
yeah.
They see me come from the ground up and build my way up to where I am now.
For sure.
But how did you do it? Because there's other people who do what you do. What did you do differently? Because did you kill 100,000 people to do it? Did you make booty commercials? Did you? No, I'm for real. No, because this is called.
He didn't.
Did you do that?
What I did was I did the opposite of what everybody else was doing. Like I wasn't going to parties. I wasn't drinking like everybody else was. I was.
You went counterculture.
No, that's called self-regulation.
And-
That's called self-control. That's called
People-
self-discipline
Well,
to
you
meet
d-
your goal.
all that, and you did that.
Yeah, people hate being alone. I be alone to get my like. I love being by myself. Other people hate being by themselves. That's what gained a big relationship with myself and God, because I just like being by myself. Being by yourself, you get the most clarity. You just get the most ideas in your head and stuff like that. So that's what I was basically doing.
I like what you guys are saying. I think we missed it, though. I'll be honest with you. I think we missed what I was, and maybe I didn't convey it correctly.
Well, imagine life without blacks. Imagine the world without blacks.
That's what I want to.
I'm asking you, but what would the world be like if there was no African contribution, African American contribution?
this is gonna
right?
be barren.
I'm saying, but
that's the culture. That's how I'm answering your question.
Go
That's
ahead.
the contribution.
Okay.
You know, how are we seen in food? How are we seen in music? How are we seen in baseball?
Is that
boxing?
revered?
How we contributed to those areas?
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
across the globe.
I think
Soccer.
we've done everything to benefit everyone else but ourselves.
I think that we share culture though, because we expect.
But that's in America.
But we
because-
share culture.
When
though.
you say
We
are
share
we
culture.
revered,
So
when
you
hold
saying
on.
so you
Every
saying-
other culture but us has a set of
America.
in America
That's what I'm saying.
has
Okay,
a
cool.
set of it's like
I agree.
regulated.
Los.
I agree.
It's like
You told-
stipulations.
you told-
For example,
You
the
told
Jewish community. Like
What about
it's-
La Mexico.
So let me give it to you. Let me give it to you.
Greektown.
So
Polish
let me
community.
finish. Let me give an example. I'm an entertainer, right?
China.
I've done every traditional party that you could think of for every other culture but ours. Every weekend in America, guess what? It's a bar mitzvah somewhere. It's a quinceañera somewhere. In the black culture, that's what I'm talking about.
16s on the regular.
When you talk about something that is finite, something that is there, that is not going to move, you can't really tell me. It's a lot of things that we've contributed.
what was June?
Yes,
What was Juneteenth?
that's a new thing.
It's not new.
And it's still fragmented.
But it's not new.
It's new to celebrate it.
Can I
On
ask
the
you-
national
On the
globe.
national level.
I got-
Because if you do a Juneteenth in Lake County, guess how many it is?
So
8.
let me ask you a question. Are you saying that the black culture is
HBCUs?
not revered? Are you saying, because you used the word revered?
The only thing that people are scared to approach is the N word when you talk about black people. The culture that we've
I
created-
don't mean fear. I mean in the sense of reverence.
I mean, revere is the N word. It's like you can't say that.
Well, I think you told me that, when somebody copies you or wants to be like you, that's a form of respect, right?
Nah, Billy.
You told me that.
Nah,
You told me that.
I don't think I ever said it like that.
Well, what you said?
I can't remember what you're talking about, but I
When
know if somebody
wants to do
stole-
what you're doing or does exactly what they want to be like you, that's a sign of
Sure, I mean, sure, but
Okay.
I don't. But that's not a.
Oh, you talking about inspiration?
Right. So
But it's not.
How
It's
many
not
cul-
painted. The brush ain't like that.
how many cultures are inspired by black culture? How
Elvis
many-
Presley took every black
Okay.
reference, but did he say, "Oh my God, I love black people. Without black people, I wouldn't be Elvis"?
Well,
No.
I mean, I'm not. But what I'm saying is that let's not
Let's not talk about
let's not lessen our respect or lessen who we are or say that we are not contributing because
I never said that.
Okay, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is
He's saying, what is ours? What is the staple? He just gave 2 great examples, right? Every weekend there's a bar mitzvah that's a staple that's not going nowhere. They're
what
gonna
is the
celebrate
staple?
that.
Look at the
But he said,
entertainment.
but also he said there's a quinceañera. I'm saying that we as a black people, when he made those statements, I can't even really see people celebrating their children graduating most of the time because they're so caught up in bills and work and all these things. There's not a group of people that's getting together in celebration for a lot of different
And
things.
I'm not blasting back people. I'm saying in September stretch, and I'm gonna let you finish because this is a heated. This is why I'm talking about. In September is a flag in every Spanish car in the world. When Juneteenth rolled around, I was the only nigga with a flag outside of a cutlass. I'm saying that that's what I'm talking. I feel
I
feel
felt that. I think
lesser
you
as a
said
human.
that.
I'm just
Hey.
smoothly throw this in there.
But
I
could
think
that be
this is a
geographical location? Would you say that's
No.
the same in Atlanta or Dallas or in
Maybe,
Houston or
maybe,
Philadelphia?
maybe.
No, I will say this. In
Milwaukee be bussin'.
In
Racine be
Racine,
bussin'.
every year
Racine do be
for
bussin'.
years, they get it cracking on June.
That's culture,
I
though.
will say
That's
that.
Can I
culture.
answer your question? I think it's a deeper conversation to your point
We gotta go.
that we got to go because if we go back
I wanted to start here.
And
That's why I wanted this conversation to start.
Historically, you can't start like a GPS. It's gonna ask you where you at first. So where we at? We're here. We're trying to go there. Where's here? We're traumatized. Mental health. All kind of things happen to our community and our culture that make us not able to celebrate not only ourselves and our culture, but one another's to that extent. That's truth. That's fact.
Yeah.
The doc could tell you some stats. We know that.
Yeah.
So because we know that, then let's start there. And then when we have the conversation, we're on an even playing field. So we're not saying that black people are not getting the same respect as this and we don't respect one another. No, look where we still traumatize our community, our culture, where we come from, what's been taken from us. We've been pit against each other. This is historic fact. That's why we're at
No, that's what I'm
this
glad
place.
you said that. We've been put against. Stretch, you wanted to get into. Stretch wanted to get in. I'm sorry.
No, we can go all over.
Okay,
because
okay.
everybody touched on things that kind of warrants a response. And so we don't have that much time, but I'm just saying we're expected to survive, not celebrate. So everything that we do is kind of hard to, like you talk about the quinceañeras and bar mitzvahs or whatever. We're just here we're almost trained to survive.
That is
we
a
don't
fact.
have time to celebrate
No strive.
a
That is a
16th
fact.
birthday or the 21st birthday because we still got struggles tomorrow and
That's
the
a
next day and the
fact.
next day. So it's hard to sit back and say, what do we have? Because you haven't given us anything to celebrate. We're just
a fact.
getting through it every day. And to me, our celebration comes from recognizing that we got through another day and now we're creating something possibly when we're opening our businesses for our legacies, our family, our children, or whatever to be better than what we were. So we don't have a chance to actually celebrate it ourselves. You only can look back and say, I came from here to pass it on and hope our next generation of seeds take it a step further. So we don't get to live in celebration.
I like that. You snap with that because that you sound almost like me with that one. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
In your own little way.
Last words from everybody. Go ahead, guys.
I want to say that thank you for this opportunity,
Absolutely.
to sit with you brothers and talk about our community. But I also want to keep it in our community and start talking about mental health in the community and mental health and African American men. If we go up and down Lewis Street, if we go to the corners of where DMV is, Green Bay and Belvedere, we see a lot of African American males. I tend to pull over and try to talk to them. Many of them will not talk due to mental illness, but I try to talk to them, because they do have a story, right? And to see them out there and to see them with their shoes on the wrong feet and being ignored, right? Why did they get there? Who failed them? What failed them? Did the school system fail them? What happened along the way, right? That we should start to tackle mental health in our community and to keep it on men. When we look at single families in the African American community or single families, 80% are led by females.
Yep.
So what about, again, we didn't stay there long about men being absent from their family and fatherhood. And as relates to poverty in the black
Now, go into
neighborhood.
it, Doc. I'll pay Tim $20 more. Talk to me a little bit about the absence. Give me the absence.
As it relates to poverty in the black neighborhood, whose shoulders does that rest on? African American males. That's what we want to pick up.
Gotcha. George Moore, last word.
I just want to say that, we talked about a lot of stuff that we can improve on, but we got into celebration. We don't have time to celebrate because we're always trying to survive. I just want to take this moment to celebrate the men on this stage because this is a moment, and I'm not saying no superficial stuff. It's the fact that we're doing this is something to be celebrated. The fact that this young man right here is sitting in the midst of us, holding his own, and not just in conversation, but in life. It's something to be celebrated. You are to be celebrated. So though we talk about some of the issues in our community, I just want you to understand that we celebrate you, we celebrate our culture, we celebrate the positivity, not just the negative aspects of media and the stats, but the positive aspects of what we're doing. So I want to take this time to say, you give honor where honor is due. And anybody up here that you see on the stage has went through some suffering, including this young man. You don't just get there. They didn't believe in you. You don't just get there. Everybody just to sit here right now is celebrated. So I appreciate the opportunity, the time, and the fact that you all are doing what you're doing. And here right now, I celebrate y'all, all celebrities in my book. I'm gonna get all y'all autograph before we. I celebrate, especially you, young man, and I'm proud of you.
Beautiful. Toy, your last words to the people.
What I would say is to everybody watching this, that anything is possible. I built it from the ground up.
They calling them now. The money calling.
Yeah, and a lot of people on your grind. A lot of people is gonna doubt you, so you just got to keep pushing. Especially the closest ones to you. That's the ones that hurt you the most. But that's why you got to just keep pushing. Everything is a fight. It's not gonna come easy. Success not gonna come easy, bro. And nothing in life is gonna come easy. And don't get too comfortable once you get that little bag. Because once you get that little bag and get too comfortable, then you can go back down to ground zero. And then that's a learning point too.
Staydumbfly. Hold on, before you say said something about faith in God. I just want what you said. What you say earlier, brother? I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw it at me. I put my little $20 in there. I'll just go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Good. Thing is, you gotta have faith in God, and really important, you gotta have faith in yourself. Because if you don't have faith in yourself, I don't know what to say about that, bro. If you don't got faith in yourself, you just doing it.
You smoked.
I'm not gonna touch the religion thing no more.
Don't.
But the one thing I will say is this: I think that through failure, you gotta learn not to get stagnant. I've been recently talking to myself about that, like, you've really been stagnant lately. It's like, so I think what you just touched on that when you said getting comfortable and you'll go down, things of that nature, and you gotta have you gotta believe in yourself and stay going. So those are the things that I would basically say, and just when one door closes, figure out another way, figure out another option. Don't stay in the same thing too long, trying to force it to make you successful or live in that line that what you are I guess known for, because sometimes you can get lost in the sauce. So yeah. It ain't one way to eat a Reese.
Yeah, that's true. Stretch, you gave us some powerful words before. Did you want to add something to it?
Nah, I'm gonna pass the mic to the host.
All right. All right, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. My last words to you guys would be, don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. And that's the reason why I challenge the culture of my culture, is me opening a business, me starting a podcast, me doing whatever, is I'm challenging myself, but I'm also challenging the consumer. I'm challenging the person that's watching us. I'm challenging the people that are consuming what we got. I know a lot of people commented. We couldn't get to all the comments. I couldn't get to no comments tonight. But we love y'all so much. Please keep commenting. Keep subscribing and keep going. I'm not a gang member, but I know my mama taught me the 5 Ps, and that's the proper preparation prevents a poor performance, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever you do, make sure you're prepping the correct way and you're being thorough as you possibly can. Success doesn't come to anybody who's just outside doing what they want to do. You got to really die in a way. You got to die for what you're trying to do, and that may be dying inside or dying whatever you're going to die, old version of yourself.
It don't come easy.
There you go, die in silence sometimes.
Don't come easy at all.
Don't come easy. It's the Crazy Riot Show. I want to shout out to Brandon Ewing. He's the man. He's watching. And shout out to him. Shout out to Lake County Media Group. Shout out to the Crazy Riot Show. It's Crazy Talk Podcast Monday. We'll be back. We'll see y'all next time.
It's the Crazy Riot Show. Man, you know that we bustin'. Yeah. It's a Crazy Riot Show. Hold up, you know that we bustin'. Yeah. It's a Crazy Riot Show. Hold up, you know that we